Hello everybody, it's Dee here. Welcome to Wildcard Wednesday. We're still filming from, I'm still filming from home. We're not back in the centre yet, sadly, but maybe soon, maybe at Easter perhaps, who knows. Anyway, welcome to Wildcard Wednesday. I'm your teacher for today, or your tutor, or your guide. Not spiritual guide, just, clay guide today. So you should all have picked up your boxes from reception. As I said before, these classes are normally taught at the Attenborough Arts Centre, which due to the restrictions, sadly, we're all closed down at the moment. So hopefully you'll have picked up your box from reception. And I'm going to turn the camera around now and have a look and see what's inside the box. Let's get that bit right. Okay. Okay, so I've got some gentle jazz playing in the background. I might get up and adjust it if it's not too loud. So let's see what's in our box today. Now, the extras you'll need this week, ignore my dirty paint-filled jug, but you'll need some extra water. So if you want to grab yourself a cup or a bowl or a glass of water, do that now. So what have we got in the box this week? We've got a lump of clay, air dry clay. Oh, look, I've got a wonderful golden ticket. Yay! If you are if you have got the golden ticket in your box, if you want to email the address on it and claim your free prize. That's exciting, isn't it? And also tell them the date that that it is you're emailing. So inside your box, you've got your clay, you've got a lollipop stick, you've got a pair of plastic gloves, you've got an apron, plastic apron, which you can either wear or you can cover your table with. That's up to you. I won't put it on because I've already got this one on. A couple of lollipop sticks. You've got a couple of cocktail sticks, not for cocktail use today, and a pot of white paint and a pot of red paint. So, oh, and a paintbrush. Okay, I'm just going to put the paint and the paintbrush to one side for now. I'm going to put my gloves on. These are different sizes. That hand's massive. That was really small. Oh well. Oh, I've got another one here. Let's try that one. Assorted glove compartments. Ah, that's better. Right, let's get that on. Okay, so let's get going. If you unwrap your clay, pop that to one side. Oh, actually, you'll need that. What I want you to do is just take off a lump of clay, wrap up what you're not using in the plastic so it doesn't dry out. And if we take this piece, we're going to turn it into a rocky mountain shape. If you can imagine what a kind of bit of rock looks like. So I'm really kind of just squishing it around with my fingers. I'm making some shapes in it, different textures. I'll put it on its side. If you have a look like that, you can kind of see I've just squished it literally so it looks like something I found in the mud, which is exactly what you want. So I want you to squish it all around and make lots of texture in it. Okay, like that. So it's really rough, doesn't have to be neat. The back you can smooth with your fingers if you like, but you're not going to see the back anyway, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Okay, so there you have your base. That's what we're going to build up on. I'm just going to pop that to one side, and now I want you to get out some more clay. I'm going to take off a couple of pieces, wrap the rest back up, and put that over to one side. Okay, what I want you to do is just, we're going to, this is really difficult with these gloves on because this clay is really sticky. It's sticking to my gloves. If you don't want to work with the gloves, that's fine. Just use it, work with your hands. I'm just going to make a few of these shapes. I'm going to just roll the clay between my hands. You can also just do it on the table like that. So what I want you to do is make one end sort of tapered, and we're going to cut those in half. It doesn't matter about the length. You can do any length. I'll show you what we're going to do with them in a minute. For those of you that have done some other plaques with me, we did a flower plaque and we did an underwater coral plaque. And this one today, we're going to do forest floor plaque. So things you find on the forest floor. Basically, we're going to create a little kind of like mushroom scene on our plaque. All will be revealed. So I'm going to make a few of these shapes. So I want the end, so I'm rolling it with my hands, and I just want the ends. Now you can, it's much easier to do it on the surface rather than on your hands. I'm going to just lay those like that. Okay, and then what I want you to do is we're going to make some slightly shorter ones. So if we roll out, so let's put those there. Let's just make sure you can still see those. You can. Okay, so now what I want is I'm going to roll out a longer piece like this. Doesn't matter about the ends so much for this. And I want you to chop it up. Again, it doesn't matter how many. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to, with these little short ones, I want you to get some clay and just pull off some little tiny bits like that. Just drop them on the table. How many have I got? I've got 6. One more. 6 stems, and these are going to be the little mushroom tops. So what I want you to do is roll it in your hand like that, on the flat of your hand with your fingertips. It goes into a ball. And I want you to press with one finger. It's going to be like that. Okay, it's kind of like a little pyramid shape. Then I want you to get, I'll show you that. We're going to just squash those on like that. And you can use your cocktail stick, and you're just going to pull down. If you watch carefully, I'm going to pull down the base, the stem, onto the base of my little tiny mushroom. Okay, and I'm going to just pop that on there. So if we do that all together, so we're going to roll these little pieces into balls. Doesn't matter if they're different sizes. In fact, it's probably better if they are different sizes, because in nature things are all very individual. No two are the same, are they? So I'm going to just put my fingertip on the base as I turn it round, and I'm squeezing it between my fingertips gently, not too hard. And I'm going to make these into little pyramid shapes. like that. There's a little tiny one. I'm pre-filming this before your class. I might add in another colour because actually black would be good. It's really difficult to know. I mean, if you've got your own paints, then that would be ideal. You can then paint your piece, your finished piece, when it's dry, any colour you like. So let's just pop that on there. So I'm going to just pop it in the middle of the flat underside. And I'm going to just like that, so it's joined. On each one. Oops. See, they already look like mushrooms, don't they? Well, I don't know if you've ever seen mushrooms like that, but I have. You can always Google wild mushrooms, actually, and you'll see a wonderful variety of shapes and colours. If you want to do that and model your pieces on the images that you find, then you're welcome to. But I'm just kind of like going from my imagination, what I remember some of the mushrooms that you find are like. Now let's bring back in our rocky base, and I'm going to find a little spot for these mushrooms to go in. So I think I'm going to plant them here. So I'm just going to squash that down. I'll show you. So I've put it by the side of that little ridge, and I'm just going to squish it with my lollipop stick. Okay. And then another. I'm going to pop that one next to it. I'm going to put them all on, and then I'm going to join them a bit better once I've got them in place. That one's going to go there. Okay, and then I'm going to just look on the underside, turn it on its side, and I'm just going to get my lollipop stick, and I'm going to brush down all those bases onto the base beneath so that they won't fall off when they're dried. Okay, like that. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, you can pull them apart slightly. It doesn't matter if they bend over, because that's what mushrooms do. Right, there's our first piece. Oh, that one's falling over a bit. I might just push that one up. Obviously, you can make more. If you want to fill that whole section with these little tiny mushrooms, then you can go ahead and do that. Now I want to make a larger piece. So if you get a bigger piece of clay, actually we'll make a couple of these toadstools. I'm going to get 2 large pieces. I think I might cut one in half, so I've got 3, 1 larger and 2 smaller. Roll them in balls like that. And then what I want you to do is you're going to sort of, I'm just turning it round and round. What I want it to look like is that you've got a flat base and a curved top. Okay, so if we get the others, and we do the same, like that, turning it round and round so your base is flat and your top's got a slight sort of peak to it. And the same with the last one. Like that. So you see they're like little sort of hats. Okay, now if you just want to, let's just have a think about this. So these ones we're going to put on a slightly longer stem, fatter stem, but that's shorter. So if you get a piece of clay and we were going to roll it out so it's slightly thicker, flat ends, and I'm going to cut this into 3. I think I'll use my cocktail stick to cut it. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to get the mushroom on the base and I'm going to put it in the middle. Lollipop stick's better for this. And I'm going to go round, join the stem to the top, okay, like that. And I will do that with each one. So these have got short, stubby stems. Now you see, the thing about mushrooms, when you find them in the wild, they're often very, very delicate colours, which vary from sort of like pale orange and yellow, brown and beige, but then you can also get them very vibrant reds, orange, well, the same colours basically, but kind of stronger as well. So you can either think about, as you're making it, think about how you want the finished piece to look. You know, if you want it to look a bit more kind of like animated and a bit more cartoony, you'd probably do it in bright colours. If you want it to look more natural, you would do it in pastel colours, and really tone the shades down so they look more sort of subtle. Okay, so let's bring our rocky base back in. Now these ones we can dot about, so I'm going to put one here. Now what you can do, actually, let's do it like this. Get your lollipop stick, sorry, your cocktail stick, and I want you to score underneath like this, because these then look like the mushroom gills that occur underneath, and when you come to paint it, you can paint them like a dark colour. Okay, I'm going to do the same on all of them. Like that. And the reason I've done that is because we can place them like this. So if you put that on an angle, let's lift it up. If you put it on an angle like this, when you're looking at it, you can see the underside. Now you can either have it standing up like that, or you could do one of each. You could have one on its side like this, because often when you find mushrooms in the forest or the woods, they've usually been eaten or fallen over by some kind of grub, and You can even pinch out the edge slightly. Okay, you can always get your lollipop stick in and do a bit more of those lines. Then I think we'll have a standing up one. I think I'm going to pinch out that so it's a bit finer and a bit bigger. That edge. And then I'm going to get my lollipop stick. It makes lovely marks in the clay. Like that. Then I might stick this one here. I might have it at an angle. I'm going to just squash that down. I'm going to join it. Okay. And then I'm going to put that third one again. I'm going to pull out those. Those edges. I think it looks prettier. I'm going to put this one here. I want to be able to see it. I'm going to put it like that, I think. It's sort of resting underneath. Look, the underside looks great. So I'm going to get my lollipop stick under there and just pull down the stem of the mushroom onto the rocky base like that. Okay, so if you want to be able to see it, you can kind of look underneath. It looks great underneath, like that. Then I'm going to get these pieces I made earlier and I'm going to pull them together like this. I'm kind of holding them by the base like that. And I'm going to pull it like this, squish it like that together. See? And I'm going to attach this one to this other little spot I've got here. I'm going to place it there and I'm going to pull down with the lollipop stick so it's nice and joined to the base, and then I can kind of like manipulate it and move it round to where I want it to be. I'm going to just pull it down on this side as well so it's really well joined. Okay. And then I've got a couple of other pieces here, some gaps here that I could fill. Now, if you wanted to build a bigger mushroom, go like this. We'll grab another piece of clay. Oh, sorry, no, we want a circle, right? I want you to stick your thumb into that circle. And we're going to pull it down over your thumb. I'll follow this if you can see what I'm doing. Look, I've made a little kind of cap shape. It's like a giant version of the first ones we made. Like that. Pinching it quite thin. Like that. Okay. Then I'm going to get a piece of clay. Now this has got a thick stem because It's a heavier piece, and I want it to stand above the others. I might put it up there like that, right in the middle. It's going to sit like that. So if I get this piece and I put it in there, now I've got to join it, otherwise it's just going to fall apart. So I'm going to hold it like that, get my lollipop stick, and I'm just going to push down all the way round. Like that. Okay, so it's like that. And then I'm going to place it. I'm going to just move that little mushroom out of the way. I think I want it really standing tall, so I'm going to place it here, right in the center. I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to pull this down. Like that. Let me lift it up for you. It's getting heavier now, so be careful when you lift it up not to knock things or pull them over. So if you have a look, it's like that on the side. So I'm going to pull this one down. Okay, so that should be secure now. Woo! Yeah, once that's dry, it'll be secure. And then I think what we could do is we could have some of these little ones again around the edge there. So I'm going to pull off some little pieces. And I'm going to circle. And we're going to make that flat base again. Triangle. Circle. Whoop. There. Okay, I'm going to get some pieces now, make the stems. Let's just move that over there. You've got plenty of clay. You might want to make another one, or you could make this whole thing a lot bigger. I'll leave that up to you to decide what to do with what you want with your clay. So we're going to cut these lengths. And I'm going to make them a little bit slimmer. Okay, so then we have to join them like we did before. We put the stem on. You can use your lollipop stick or the cocktail stick for this. These little mushrooms often grow in little tight little clumps, and you see them sometimes they're coming out of the side of a tree in a little group. If you've never been in a wood, or you haven't been any around Leicester, there's some wonderful ones on the edges of Leicester. If you ever get anyone with a car to take you out to Bradgate Park, there's some wonderful woods out that way. Swithland Woods they're called. Magical place near Bradgate Park. So if any of your friends have got a car, see if you can persuade them to take you there for a nice little trip out. Get some fresh air. Oh, are you allowed though? Maybe if you're in your support bubble you're allowed, I'm not sure. I know you're allowed out for exercise, but I'm not sure what it's like in Hall of Residence. Right, so you've got those there, and I'm going to just start placing them on here. So these ones I kind of want in two little groups. We're going to have them like that. I'm going to get my lollipop stick and just squash down that base. You can put them on, squash them down, and then move them once you've got that base joined. Okay, that one I'm going to put there. We'll have one next to it. I'm going to squish those, and then that last one. Okay, so there you have your mushroom forest floor. Now I want you to leave this to dry out because these are very wet before we have a go at painting them. Okay, so I'm just moving them round because wherever you leave them, that's where they're going to dry and stay, hopefully. If anything feels really wobbly, just get a little bit of clay from your pile and reinforce them so that they don't fall off. Okay. Right. Hello everyone again. Short interlude while I left my mushroom forest to dry overnight. And I put a layer of white paint on it. You can see there's quite a few gaps underneath. But what I thought I would do is, I haven't quite decided yet, because I haven't packed your boxes, how I'm going to do these paints. I might give you one pot with a tiny bit of each colour, because actually you need a tiny amount to create the colours that we're after. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, now what can I use? I'm going to get a scrap of paper out of my dustbin. Here we go. Let's have a scrap of paper ready. And on my little scrap of paper I'm going to mix some colour. So I've got my paintbrush. I'm going to have a bit of white, and I'm going to have a tiny bit of yellow. So this will be in your pot. I mean in your box, sorry, not your pot. Yeah, so it's going to be a surprise because I'm going to decide when I go to pack your boxes, I'll decide at that point how I'm going to give you the colours. Because as I say, we literally need that to create the colours we're after. We don't need all of this, so it's a bit of a waste. So to save it, I might just put some tiny blobs in the bottom of a pot for you. So I want to make a kind of subtle orangey colour, and I want to mix it with some white. So I want to just go like this. Now obviously you can mix your colours exactly how you want. You don't have to do it my way at all. But I thought I'd just show you how to do a kind of subtle mix of colour rather than having it vivid. Of course, if you want it to be really bright, I'll show you something from a previous class that we did. So another class that we did, another wild card, was this flower one. I don't know if any of you did this flower one, the flower plaque. And I painted it with really bright colours. So let me show you the painted finished version. This was it. Okay, so that's really bright and colourful. And of course you're welcome to do that on your mushrooms. But I thought for a change, I'd try and tone it down. It doesn't come naturally for me to do pastel colours because I like everything bright and colourful. But I thought I'd just try to challenge myself to do something really different. So what you'll find is the clay does take quite a long time to dry out. I put mine in the airing cupboard overnight and then I painted a layer of the acrylic white on the back. And there's still quite a few gaps. But what you'll find also is that if there's any loose bits, you know, loose bits of clay, your paint will stick them together. So I'm just going to kind of dab these. I've just dipped the tips of the paintbrush into the red. I haven't cleaned the paintbrush, so it's coming out quite pretty, kind of dappled pink. And I'm going to do all of those little tiny mushrooms with that colour. Can you see? So that's pretty. If you have got your own paints in your rooms, you don't have to use acrylics. You can use watercolour. Oil paint probably not because it takes a long time to dry, it's messy. But if you've got watercolour, you can certainly use that on here. And if you've got some other colours from previous workshops, you can mix and match, which is great. Now this one, I am going to just clean my brush because I want this more yellow. But what I can do is just put a tiny, actually what I'll do first of all, I'll put the yellow on all of them. Just brush it on loosely. Then I'm going to get my red tip of the paintbrush again, because I want it to be a bit more of a brighter orange colour. Oh, do you know, I've already broken that rule I just set myself. I said I'd try and go for some subtle tones, didn't I? Look. Absolutely hopeless. I just can't seem to do pastels. You can always tone it down a bit with a bit more white. Add a bit of white, that's better. There we go. For those of you that love a good pastel shade, you can just mix it up. The good thing about putting your paints on a piece of paper is you can use the paper as a palette. And actually it doesn't matter if they're slightly different shades, because in nature everything is very individual. So I might make, I might just put a tiny bit. This is quite good actually, because I'll see how much paint we need. Certainly don't need a whole pot full. I'm going to take a bit out of that pot. So I'm going to probably put a teaspoon of red and a teaspoon of yellow into the tub for you. And just, they shouldn't blend because they're quite thick paints. So have a nice time mixing these around so you can get some different shades. I think I'm going to put some more white. Ooh. So yeah, so look, if you've got at home some kind of black would be good. You can mix a tiny dot of black in to give you a bit of grey, which should be pretty. That's quite nice. I've gone over that one with the white, that first one, so it's gone a bit more subtle. This one, I think I'm going to do bright red down the base where it's pinky, pull it up, and then I'm going to get my white and mix that in. So I'm sticking to my rule of trying to make it pastel-y. That's looking gorgeous, even though I say so myself. It's very pretty. They come alive when you paint them. Those little ones, I might just dab a bit of yellow. The nice thing about these brushes is they're quite kind of spiky, so you can get some good texture going on. And again, I think I'm going to tone down those. They look a little on the bright side for our pastel palette. So let's tone those down with some white. The acrylic paint also acts like, I might have already said this, acts like a glue and a varnish as well. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I can see some gaps where I haven't got any white underneath the mushrooms. So I'm just going to put some more white in there with my brush. Stipple it around. If any bits fall off, you can use the white paint like a glue. Just get a piece of white paint on your brush, place it onto the piece, and then stick the piece that's fallen off onto it and add some more paint to it. And it acts, as it dries, it acts like a glue. And as I said, you know, we made those undershapes. So if you've laid anything down with the gills showing upwards, if you paint those a grey colour, that'll look very effective. Oops. And the good thing about the white, it doesn't matter if it gets on things because you want it to cover up any gaps anyway. You can always add water. If you want your paint to go a little further, you can add water to it, water it down a little, because as I said, it's good paint, it's quite thick. So if you want it to go, what you could do is do a wash of white, water it right down on your first piece when it's dry, do a wash of white, and then put the thicker paint on afterwards. So this is kind of like, you know, it's just going to sit on your desk or in your window. It doesn't serve a purpose other than to look very pretty and to remind you about nature. I suppose we could do with a bit of green in there really, but I don't want to get any more paint involved because it gets really complicated then with the boxes. So I think that's probably where I'm going to leave that. I'm quite happy with that. That can go in the bin. That is going to sit there. Wash my brush out. Don't forget to wash your brushes because they'll get ruined if you don't. That's the thing about acrylic paint. If you don't wash your brushes, it goes hideously wrong and you can't use the brush again. Okay, so there we have it, look. There's your mushroom, fungi, forest, glade plaque. Okay, so let's turn the camera around. Thank you for joining me yet again, everybody. I appreciate you joining in, and I really hope you get a lot out of these classes. You can dip in and out of them, and if you've got extra clay you can always make something else, or whatever materials it is we're doing. There'll be another class next week with something equally exciting to do. Haven't decided yet what I'm going to teach you or let you loose with, but I'll come up with something, you can be sure of that. So I hope you have fun, and what is it I always say every week? Stay safe, stay well, and stay creative. And hopefully over the next few months I might be able to change that motto to something slightly different, because we'll be released from lockdown and the world might go back to something like normal. Let's hope. Anyway, okay everyone, this is Dee signing off. Until next time, bye.